Hello, everyone. Welcome to Visions of Self. We're so glad everyone is here tonight and wanted to say hello. My name is Gina, and I am the president of Yosemite Sierra Artists. And we're so excited to have this show. We've had almost 300 entries from over 10 different countries. So not sure if this timing's working out for everyone, so it will be recorded, but we've got people from Canada, Belgium, Poland, India, France, Germany, the Russian Federation, Australia, Israel, and a few others. So hopefully you're seeing this live. And again, welcome. So while we're waiting for everybody to get in, I'm going to just tell everyone a little bit about Yosemite Sierra Artists. And we are located in California up by beautiful Yosemite National Park. And we're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. So we were formerly Yosemite Western Artists, and this year we've changed it. So if I screw up anytime saying Yosemite Western Artists, you'll know why. But hopefully I make it through this. So the nice thing about this group is it really is a local group, but this year has just brought everybody together because so many people need art right now. The pandemic has been kind of a horrible thing, but at the same time, it's a good thing because so many people need art right now. People want to create, and it gives you that chance to just relax and not think. So we're grateful for art. We're grateful for just people coming together to do that. So again, while we're waiting for people, I'm going to invite everybody to do a few of the other events that we have going on. So we have a monthly art demo that we do. Sometimes it's painting, sometimes it's marketing, sometimes it's photography. This month we have a palette knife artist doing a landscape, and that would be on March 20th. So if you are available, it's on Zoom, so check that out. And then every week on Thursday at 9:30 in the morning, we have a live portrait group. Again, that's on Zoom. There is a model fee for it, but it's nominal, and there's always different artists. So again, you get to create with other people. We have a photo group that meets once a month, and then we also have a plein air group. And obviously that one, we go to different places throughout, the foothills where we live and Yosemite. Obviously you need to be here to do that because it is in person and everybody does socially, distance themselves. So it's safe, but at the same time you are painting with other people. So that's a really fun one. But mostly this group, if you could do anything, I would recommend checking out Women's Voices, Women's Vision. And this is our women's group. This was started by Wendy Denton and Jennifer Moss. And this Visions of Self is a product of that group. And it's an opportunity for women to come together and support each other. You get to show your art, get feedback. You get to, just connect with other people because art can be isolating. I think it's really important right now, especially right now, if people are home, to connect with others. So the other way to connect with us is on Facebook. So we have two groups. We have our group and we have our page. So be sure to check out our Yosemite Sierra Artist page, and that's going to give you event updates and if there's other call for artists and just fun things that we find. That's the page to check out. And then also we have a Yosemite Sierra Artist group page. So if you want to post art for feedback and get some exposure for your art, that's the place to do it. Then we also have our Instagram page, and that is Yosemite Arts. So be sure to check those out and stay connected with those. And then the best way to get all of the ongoing information is to really sign up for our newsletter. That goes out monthly for just the general event list, and then maybe one or two other times. Like for this event, we did a couple reminders so that people know that it's coming, and you don't have to remember things. So we don't send out a lot, but at the same time, that is on our website at yosemitesierraartist.org. So be sure to check those out. And again, we're just really grateful for the show. There's so many people who were interested in the Visions of Self show, and we're it just ecstatic because it's bigger and better than we could possibly have dreamed. So, want to give you a little sampling, and we're going to feature a wonderful video now that has a beautiful piece from absolutely every artist in the show. We hope we got everybody. I'm going to tell you that. If you don't see yourself, we apologize. There were so many people, and we've got some amazing art for you to see. So, without further ado, I give you our video. So, thank you.
So welcome again, everyone. I'm Jennifer Moss. With me is Wendy Denton. We are the co-curators of the show, and you can see how beautiful that presentation is as a collection. Each and every piece is so moving to us. Don't you agree, Wendy?
Oh, absolutely. Completely moving. And each one, like, I want to see it more. And then it goes to the next. I want to see that one more. It's just wonderful.
So, Wendy, why don't you tell people how we came up with this Women's Voices, Women's Vision idea in Yosemite Sierra Artists?
Yeah, I'm going to go back a few years. When I was in my 20s, I discovered women photographers like Diane Arbus, Judy Dater, Cindy Sherman, Annie Leibovitz, and many others. And I was hungering to see their work. I get their books and I look at them again and again and again. And what so moved me was the courage they had to be that real and that transparent in terms of their bodies, their families, feelings, fears, joys, as well as their complex view of the world. I then bought my first camera, and my photography became my therapy. Ever since then, I've longed for a group of women artists to come together to talk about ideas, to share images, and support each other. And this was my motivation to begin Women's Vision, Women's Voices. We now meet monthly, so if any of you out there are artists and you would like to join us, please do. And then Jennifer Moss got this incredible idea to do this exhibit. Take it away, Jennifer.
Well, we meet over Zoom monthly, and yet we interact on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Women's Vision. And I said, well, we need an event, although we can't all get together, but we need to do some kind of event. And we wanted to slate it for Women's History Month. So that's the month of March, obviously. And during our Zoom conference, we were all kind of throwing out ideas for the show. And I don't remember who threw it out, but they said, what about selfies or self-portraits? And then we kind of made it a little more broad and said, well, how about using the name of our group, Visions, and doing it Visions of Self, however you want to interpret that. It can be self-portraiture, and we did get a lot of self-portraiture in the show, but it can be your environment, and it can be your emotions, and we got a lot of those too. So I'm glad that we made it open to interpretation, because we got such amazing pieces out of that, you know? And we are a small group. We have just a little over 100 people in the Facebook group. But what's so amazing and something that we didn't expect is that we got submissions from all over the world. I kept telling Wendy, I'm like, more are coming in, more are coming in. Oh my gosh, there's one from France. Oh my gosh, there's one from Belgium. And so it was just beyond our expectations. And as you can see from the video, the show is just spectacular. And that's due to you, the artists, and the judges, and everyone who went into creating the show. So we welcome you, and we thank you so much for sharing your life with us.
Indeed.
Yeah. So Wendy is going to begin by talking to Diane Brewer. She is one of the jurists in the show, and then we'll go on and start featuring the ribbon pieces and talking to the artists about their own pieces. So I'm going to add Diane to the stream. Hi, Diane. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Congratulations on a wonderful show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Diane is a lifelong artist, and she recently retired from owning her own gallery and working studios and work as well as an art space. Water, oils, pastels, really started working in clay. I'm
Oops,
show.
Yeah,
I'm
Wendy,
here.
you're cutting out for a bit. So,
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
yeah.
No? Yes?
Oh, I keep cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. If
It's
you
okay.
can hear me, what was your impression of the show?
Well, I thought it was very insightful. I thought that it was very interesting. I really enjoyed seeing how each person portrayed their feelings, and
Yes.
some of them were fabulous, just fantastic artwork. And whether they were fantastically rendered, it was wonderful to see the feelings that went into it, the soul that went into it. Really enjoyed that. And also the things that were said regarding each painting. It was very touching.
Right. So, for those of you out there who haven't seen the show yet or have just browsed the show, if you click on each piece, you'll see a statement by the artist about their own piece. And that gives you a lot of depth to the visions.
Right.
Yes.
When you saw these pieces, did it say anything to you about women artists at this time, at the pandemic, at 2021? Was any of that connected for you?
Well, I felt really bad for some of them because it was very difficult for some of the artists to get through this situation. I think things are going to be better now. It would be interesting to see what happens next year if you had it again,
Yes.
the same subject. But it was sad to see how hard it was for a lot of them. Something that I haven't had to experience because of where I live and how we live.
Mhm.
But it was very insightful.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for your
And speaking
services,
of
Diane.
time,
You really helped us because, of course, like I would have given everyone a ribbon, participation ribbons.
Oh, of
I
course.
just love each
Oh,
and every one.
yes.
It's like my children, I can't
Yes.
say which
Yes.
is better than the other. Of course, we can't do that,
Right.
but each one of these pieces are really heartfelt and they touched us, and that's the whole meaning behind
Sure.
art, right? Is to touch another person that's not necessarily in your realm.
Yes. I was ready to write a little
Diane, I
comment
have a
on
quick
each
question.
one of them. And say what
Yeah,
how
you
it
were.
made me
I remember
feel.
you asking me, should I write something about each one?
Yes.
Because it is
Diane, do you
beautiful.
think that we will keep a hybrid of virtual and on ground shows, or do you think once things open up, it'll all go on ground again? I don't know if she can hear me.
You cut up a little bit, but I think you were asking if I think that the shows will be like this from now on, or would they go back to the way they were in galleries? Is that what you
Right.
asked?
Yeah, or both.
Right. Or a
Well, I
blend.
think that there is a place for both, I think. And of course, one of the benefits of doing it online is that you do not have to package and ship your painting halfway across the United States or the world and hope that it gets there in a good condition. And this way you can also have a lot more paintings in a show. But there is something to be said about live shows. It's such a wonderful thing to see these pieces in person, and something that you thought did not grab your attention in a photograph. If you saw it in person, it would give you a completely different feel.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. See that.
And one thing that I said to Wendy is, aren't you glad we didn't have to hang all of these? Because that would have been a real chore.
And cut mats and frame and
right.
Oh my word! And
that's an advantage.
Where could you find a place that would be able to hang 200 paintings?
Exactly. So I think that from now on, it's going to be a hybrid thing. You know, we have a show coming up in September, which is our annual Tri-County show for the counties of Madera, Mariposa, and Fresno. And we're definitely going to put it online in as well as being in person, because now we have the platform. And why not? Because we can reach so many people too.
For
So
sure.
the other advantage is that people from all over the world can view the show where they might not necessarily be able to come in person, you know?
That's correct.
Right.
Yep.
You don't
Good
have to
point.
live in those 3 counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I want to keep on schedule. Diane, thank you so much for helping us out with the show.
Thank you, Diane.
Good luck with your
Thank you
art. I'm
very
sure we'll
much.
be seeing a lot of it. And where can people find you online? Do you have a
Well,
website?
I'm sorry?
You have a website?
Uh-oh, couldn't hear you. You want to
Your
know where to
website?
find me?
Yeah.
DianeBrewer.com.
Okay.
DianeBrewer.com. And I also am an online gallery for the Fresno Art Hub. We may not be, but we are online. Have a few very select artists on there. But if you want to see my art, it's at DianeBrewer.com.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Cool.
Okay, and now we're
Thanks,
going
Diane.
to move on to our best of show artist, Gabriella Deloso. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, that's how you pronounce it. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You
Hi,
too, and thank
Gabriella.
you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and share the image on the screen. And why don't you talk a little bit about the piece first, and then we'll talk about you. So here we go. Let's see. Okay, here we are.
There it is. Okay, so this is an oil painting, and it is a self-portrait, but I do paintings, a series of paintings where I depict historical women artists. So the artist I'm depicting here is Evelyn de Morgan, and she was associated with the Pre-Raphaelite movement.
Right.
She was a spiritualist painter. She painted a lot of themes that involved war and peace. Um, so, she had a lot of symbolic things in her paintings, like light, like colors, like light. And so had angels. Some of her famous paintings, like one is a Flora, which you may know. Another one is called Night and Sleep, and sort of angelic figures. I loved her work when I first saw it. She has a really nice body of work. And the more you look at her paintings, the more captivating they are. So, the more I learned about her, I kind of wanted to do a painting about her.
But so I noticed from your Instagram that you have a whole series of paintings where you painted yourself in an homage to a female artist. So the motivation behind that, is that because you want to feature them and show who your influences are?
The thing is, like like for example, Evelyn de Morgan, I had never heard of her, and it's all, this entire series is about discovery. I discover these painters that, when I start reading about them and discover their work, I find them very inspiring, and I hope that other people learn about them, and their life stories are pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And so I've learned so much. I've kind of I mean, the more I do these, it's kind of endless. Well, I started doing these in 2008.
Wow.
I didn't realize I'd be doing these for so many years, but I just
Right.
keep, I always say to myself as an artist that I will paint something as long as I'm inspired.
Right.
And so, this is one of those things that I just keep getting more and more ideas. So I don't know what to say. This is
Yeah.
sort of an ongoing, maybe it's a lifetime thing I'm doing.
I think it's lovely. And this particular piece, the homage to Evelyn de Morgan, I read is going to be traveling this summer, right? It's going to Sotheby's.
Yes, that's exciting. It's going to be displayed with the Art Renewal Center's actual exhibition. So it was chosen for that show, and then it goes to Barcelona to the Museum of European Modern Art. So that's pretty exciting because I do the painting so people can learn and see about these artists. And so the visibility it's going to get is kind of like a full circle sort of thing where I do the painting so people can learn about these artists. And, when I get the opportunity and the forum for people to actually see and learn about them is like completes the circle for me. So I'm just, when I won Best in Show, I said, this is amazing because it was March 1st,
Yeah.
which is Women's History Month.
Right.
So it was
Yeah.
sort of a celebration,
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Evelyn de
Yes.
Morgan. So I was
Yes. Well, we really appreciate your work. We wish you all the best with this piece and with all your pieces.
You-
Now, where can people find you and your work online?
Okay, so my website is GabriellaDeloso.com, just
That's
like you
easy.
see on the screen. And also I have Instagram, which is Gabriella Gonzalez Deloso. So that's, the three together.
Great. Well, thank you for participating. I appreciate it. And
Thank
good luck and keep us
Thank
posted where this
you.
painting ends up.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. So that was
Thank you.
Gabriella. And now we are going to talk to Brianna Hunt, who has the first place image in the show. So hello, Brianna, and
Hi,
welcome.
Jennifer. How
Good.
you guys hear me?
So I'm glad you're joining us. I'm going to open your photograph so we can talk about that. And I'll just see, get this up on screen. And here we go. Look at this beautiful face.
Yes.
Like Gabriella, I noticed in your Instagram feed that there were also a lot of self-portraits too, but then I realized, we don't have any models nowadays. It's like, right? That's all we have to work with. So tell us about this image, Brianna.
This never really I have like a running theme is actually ones my self portrait express Italy, it's like me, some things the lighting works into this one. I guess it was like angry for some. How can I use this anger that I have right now? Some sort of way to picture the color that's being angry. Red.
Yes, red. It's anger. Yeah.
So I kind of I act so, and I like to use a lot of I just grabbed really long, grabbed it and covered my way that I like is it's like your back, your anger of over and they can bend that anger and
Right. Yeah. That was really apparent. And I just think this is so powerful, not just the color, but the look in your eyes too. Like
And
you
the
really
direct,
captured
yeah.
this
Yeah.
this intense feeling. And also when you said, you know, you covered your mouth because sometimes there are things that you want to say but just can't. You know, there
Yeah.
are
Right.
so many instances that happens, right? And so I just love this image. You have other images in the show too, which are just as beautiful. And
Yes.
yeah, these are really great. Now, are you studying photography now, or are you self-taught, or?
I was, and then my later years in college, a couple of years ago, I'm in education class in photography.
Wow.
And we're taking classes to kind of randomly go, you are this model and with it in that way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. Do you have a website that people can see your work?
I'm mainly currently work, but you can find shoots. So
Right.
my work there.
Instagram.com/she shoots with two S's at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us, Brianna, and good luck to you with all your future photography work. Bye. All right. So our second place artist is actually a student, and she is in classes tonight, but she did record a little video about her piece.
Cool.
So I'm going to share that video with you. First, I want to bring up her image. We all loved it and thought it was really powerful. So I'm going to share her image first. This is called Depression, and it's by Hannah Turner. So now I'm going to share her video with you. And here we go. Let's see if I can. Hold on. Oh, it says I can't. It's the wrong file type. I'm sorry. But I will go over what she explained in the video, and I will bring up the image again for you. Here we go. Share screen. Here we go. So in her description along with this image, she said that it depicts her fighting with depression and her two different sides of herself when she has debilitating depression. So in the background, you see the self that can't communicate, can't get out of bed. And meanwhile, sometimes you have this second self, which has to communicate and has to get out of bed, and you have to have your coffee. And it's the face that you put out to the world. And I think this is really a strong image, because I think almost all of us has faced this type of overwhelming feelings where you just can't work some days, or you just can't face things some days, especially in the last year, right? Wendy, yeah, I mean, everyone has these issues.
People. Yeah.
Absolutely. and things get so overwhelming. And so we thought this was really an important piece to shed light
Yes.
on subjects that have been taboo in the past, like mental illness and suffering from depression, things that people used to not talk about, which is so important. And one thing that she did mention in the video is that she got help, and she was lucky enough to be able to reach out and get help, and that she encourages anyone who is going through this to find someone to talk to, get professional help, and that things get better. And so
can I add one thing there?
Yeah, absolutely.
In this pandemic, the degree of depression and anxiety has skyrocketed. People are isolated and they're lonely and they don't have their normal support structures in place. So yes, please, any of you are feeling that way, reach out. There are organizations that can help, but you're not alone.
And what I'll do is I will upload her video to our Facebook page and to the Women's of Self page and to YouTube, so that people can see what she talks about her painting in her own words. Okay. That's great. And now we have we're going to bring on our third place ribbon winner, Britta Monges. Hi, Britta. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Very excited.
So now we're going to feature your image, which I think is just so beautiful. Here we go. And this is an image called Respite. And can you give us a little background on this?
So when I turned about 13 years old, my mother was starting to have some neurological signs that were, concerning, using a cane and then to a walker. And finally, after so many MRIs at that time, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And as a teenager at that point, the one thing you need is your mother, it's so important. Women it's who I've modeled myself after. Certainly my father is very important to me, but so having her and kind of watching that progression over the course of my life, and then having daughters of my own, this image just, to me, it was so quiet at the time taking this. She was calm. At that point, she couldn't control a lot from her neck down. So when she did lay still, there was just a moment of like peace, if that makes any sense.
Beautiful.
So, thank you.
And have you taken pictures of her throughout her struggle?
So early on, she had such a struggle with dealing with it, almost a level of denial, of saying, that she didn't have a disease and that she was going to overcome. And I think that level of hope kept her going for as long as she did. My father took care of her 24/7 at home. And, we had a hospital like set up there. And after a certain point, as she progressed, up until the point when she died in May of 2019. And we've talked most recently, I wasn't able to release this image. I had to deal with it myself, as you often would know, how that may be. But for me working through those things, when she did pass away, we talked about it being this pandemic would have been extremely detrimental. We had visiting nurses, and it would have been something that we would not have had peace with, So
I lost my sister at the end of 2019, and one thing I said to her sons, my nephews, is, isn't it great in a way that we didn't have to face that with her being sick? Because that would have just compounded everything.
Right.
That in a way that was a blessing that they passed before this whole thing happened.
Right.
Before.
Yeah. So I totally understand that.
Because we had that time, right? Whereas in so many cases, some people are in hospitals without advocates, or they aren't able to see their family. And I just, my heart bleeds for those people.
Yes.
You know?
Right. And I think that's why your
Right.
piece touched me too, because it also represented all the elderly that we have lost to COVID. You know, it's a very representational piece,
Yes.
specifically for the last year, even though that's not what your mom passed from, but it's something that many of us can relate to because we've lost loved ones. Yeah. And especially the elderly. I think it's just gorgeous.
Thank you.
So where can we find your art online and see more of it?
So my website is, it's brittamangusphoto.wixsite.com, my site.
Okay.
And generally, if people search on a Google search, it's one of the top ones. So my name anyway.
And I think it's also linked under your photographs in the show too. So
yes.
people will find it there. Well, thank you so much for joining us and for contributing.
Thank
you. We wish you well.
Oh, thank you so much. I have enjoyed this whole process so much.
I'm glad you did. Thank you. So Wendy, that's it. Can you believe it? This was our gala. Everyone showed up. It has been a delight.
This has been an absolute delight.
And the show can be seen at yosemitearts.com. And you can just click on any one of the links that says Visions of Self. And it takes time to look through them because there are a lot of beautiful pieces. And if you click through on each piece, you get to see the artist's statement about the piece. So it's really more than a show. It's really a beautiful experience. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. And it's almost like it's a series of little pieces of an autobiography, because you see the visual representation and you see the words with it.
Right.
I think it's incredibly rich.
And
I just recommend everybody.
And if you are a female artist, you can join us in our Facebook group. That's facebook.com/group/vision, women's vision, or you can just search for Women's Voices, Women's Vision. And I think this show is just the perfect example that women want to be seen and heard. And we will give you an opportunity to do so. So thank you everyone for tuning in and have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to come see the show. Thanks. Bye.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye.